Greetings, party people. I'm Kevin, N7KSW, and I'm excited to show you how Zoom works for just in general, but also specifically for remote testing sessions with GLAARG, and specifically my team as well. Now, to start off, let's look at how to join this gosh darn Zoom meeting in the first place. Well, first off, I already have Zoom downloaded, but if you don't, go to zoom.us, I believe, and download it. Otherwise, for a lot of remote session teams, you'll be getting the Zoom information from Exam Tools. This is what Zoom information looks like for a scheduled meeting, which is the case for most of our remote testing sessions. So it'll have the name and the time and stuff. And then there are two ways to join the meeting. There is a link, and there is the meeting ID and a passcode. Not all meetings have a passcode. Most of them do by default. Well, Zoom scheduled meetings do by default. But you might just see an ID. And you can take that information. You can go to Zoom. You can click join. And then you can type in the ID. And then click join and then type in the passcode. You can also change your name before you join the meeting if you're typing in the information manually. The easiest way to do it, in my opinion, the way I like to do it, is just click on the link. It'll open a new tab or window and then connect you, which will redirect you to the meeting. Usually you'll have to wait in the waiting room for a little bit before the host lets you in, which basically just looks like a white screen with some text. So if you see that, don't panic. They know that you're there, and they will let you in as soon as they are able to. Cool. So now that we're in our GLAARG session, Zoom remote session meeting thingy, the first thing that you'll probably want to do as a VE is rename yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the chat and participants window. I find them helpful to have open at all times. Chat, you can just chat with everybody else who's in the room. And then what I'm going to do is go to the participants window and then hover over myself, click on more, and then click rename, and then I'll put in my GLAARG name in there, and then everyone can see that I'm a VE, and they see my number and my call sign. Again, if you join via the meeting ID and passcode, you can put that in before you join the meeting, which is often helpful. Otherwise, if it doesn't work, or you are lazy, I don't know, you can do it while you're in the meeting, which is what I usually do. Also, you can save that name as your default name in your Zoom settings. I don't do that because if I go to other meetings, then people get confused about what those numbers are. Awesome. So when you first join, you'll just be a regular participant. Most of our remote testing teams will make you a co-host after you join, which means, and you can kind of tell, aside from looking at participants, you can see that I'm the host here. You can also tell because only co-hosts in our meetings are able to see the breakout rooms, the breakout rooms options down here. So I'm currently the host, which means I have all the power. And I'm in charge of basically, the host is in charge of basically running the meeting, letting people in, adding co-hosts, and stuff like that. So you can see here that somebody else is in the waiting room. Here is one of our applicants. And they're in the waiting room, and I can, if I'm the host or co-host, at most of our sessions, only the host is in charge of letting people in, so that not everybody is trying to do it at the same time. So I'll click admit. That other person will join the meeting as a regular participant. And then I can say hi, whatever, and they are here. So before I go in to what to do with them, I'm gonna do that kind of. I'm gonna open up the breakout rooms window, which looks like this. So here are all of our breakout rooms that we have for this exam session. So as the host, I'm gonna open them, and then as a participant, this is what you'll see. You'll see a bunch of rooms, and then you can join them if you're a co-host, and move around and live your life. So traditionally, or usually at the beginning of our sessions, all the VEs will go to the lounge. I call it the party palace because fun. Before the session starts, and this is a place for all the VEs to get organized, off in their little room together. So if I want to go there, I can click the blue join button to the right of it, and then I can click join, I can click yes, and then I will be teleported off into a distant planet where I can talk to my fellow VEs before the session. You'll get this pop-up nowadays, which basically says that when you open the breakout rooms panel, for other people in different rooms, you'll be able to see whether or not they have their microphone on or their video on, and whether you'll also be able to see whether or not they're talking. So I just moved myself into Party Palace. If you want to move another person, you can hover over them, click on Assign To, and then let's say if I'm the host, say back in the main room, I'm going to leave this breakout room by clicking Leave Room, and then Leave Breakout Room. So I'm here with main. I'm here back in the main room, which is the room that's not any of the breakout rooms. Talking to this applicant, if they have a if their name isn't quite correct, I could click on them and click rename, and let's say and change whatever I want to. Like maybe if they're actually taking general instead of extra, I'll put a G in here. And then if one of the rooms isn't ready for them, I can send them to a room. So I'll click Assign To Room 1. And then if I'm one of the VEs in the room, I'll go there too after we all get organized in the party palace. So here I am with them in the room. I'll go through the test with them if I'm leading, or if I'm in charge of talking to the applicant. After we check their room and stuff, they'll have to share their screen, and I'll show you what that looks like. So they have to share their screen, but I'm going to show you how to share your screen so that you can help them do that, or if you need to show something on your screen. So you can click the share screen button here at the bottom, and you can select what you want to share, and then so when applicants are sharing their screens, you want them to click make sure they click on their desktop or screen rather than a particular application. So if I clicked on OBS, which is what I'm using to record this, and I click share, it'll only show me OBS. Anything else that's open on my computer will not show up for anybody watching screen share. So I'll make sure to click on my desktop, or on Windows, it'll say screen instead of desktop, so that the VEs can see, or anybody else who's in here can see everything on my screen. So I'll click share, and then you'll see this kind of green box surrounding the screen by default, as well as this overlay, so that it can still control stuff in the meeting. The people watching my screen share cannot see this overlay here. Um, so they won't be able to help you like click buttons on it if you're missing something. You can also annotate, which I think is helpful oftentimes when you want to circle something that you want somebody to focus on. So like if you want someone to click on this tab up here and go to exam tools, I don't know why that's yellow, but it is. We can change the color. I can say, hey, click over here, whatever, just be careful, because you don't want to accidentally, like, draw over the answer to a question. Like, say, hey, click, to answer a question, you can click this, and then you circle the question. That's a no-no. Cool. And then when you're done, you can click stop share here. Boom. Boom. And let's say that they're done with their test. They stopped sharing their screen. And now we can send them to the exit room, which at many of our sessions, or at least at my sessions, and many others as well, I don't know why I said that, we use an exit room for them to talk, to have somebody for them to talk to give them consistent information about the next steps. So I'm going to say, hey, congratulations, awesome job, see you next week for your extra. I'm going to send you to the exit room where somebody will talk to you about what happens next. So then I'll click on them and I'll click move to, let's do that, let's do this again, move to exit, and then you can see that they are in exit. Boom. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about breakout rooms versus the main room more. So if, let's say I join them in exit, I'll click join and then click yes, or I can also click enter. And I go here, and let's say, let's do this. I have to accept it on my phone. Boom. Okay, so I go here, and I say like, wait a minute, they're not here. What happened to them? And I in the breakout rooms, it says that they are in exit, but I go here and they're not. But so if I open the breakout rooms, I'll see that they are technically assigned to exit. However, it says they are not joined, and their name is grayed out, which actually means that they are in the main room that we were in before. However, they are assigned to exit, but they're actually in main, if that makes any sense. It takes a while. It takes a hot minute to wrap your head around, but it makes sense after you realize what's happening. So if you see them grayed out, it means that they're assigned to exit, that either the exit was the last room that they were in, or somebody is trying to send them there, and they have not moved yet. But they're actually in main. So if I go to leave room, leave breakout room, I see them here in the main room, and they're still assigned to exit. Boom. So I think that's pretty much it. Trying to think if there's any other little quirks that I want to show you. Oh, by the way, in breakout rooms, you'll probably hear plenty of this, but do not click the red button down here. There's actually a warning here that pops up after you click it. But if there's a bunch of applicants in testing rooms, and you accidentally hit this, and fall on your enter key or whatever, somehow, it's gonna be a little bit of a hot mess. It's not too terrible. we can send them back to their rooms. But it creates it interrupts them in the middle of their test, and it's kind of awkward. Cool. So if I'm all done here, I can say bye, and then I can click leave meeting. It says end for me because I'm the host, but it'll say leave meeting otherwise, and then you can click leave, and then be done. Boom. So that was a little introduction on how to use Zoom. Let us know, or let me know, or let someone know if you have any questions, and don't forget to have fun.